You've been performing for so long, you think it's who you are. Smiling when you want to cry, agreeing when you want to scream, giving when you have nothing left, succeeding when you feel empty inside. At some point, you learned that being yourself wasn't enough. That truth was dangerous. That softness made you weak. That love had to be earned, and so you became someone else, someone safer, someone more likable, someone more responsible, someone more impressive, but not more free. Carl Jung believed that most people wear a mask for so long, they forget it's a mask at all. They confuse performance with personality, adaptation with authenticity, and by the time they realize it, they've lost themselves completely. In this video, we're going to uncover the hidden cost of performance. We'll explore why so many of us feel disconnected, anxious, or invisible, even when our lives look successful. We'll look at Jung's concept of the persona, Kierkegaard's despair, and Fromm's insights into freedom and fear. Because you'll never be free until you stop performing. Let's begin. There is a quiet performance happening every day. You wake up and step into a role, the high achiever, the caretaker, the funny one, the strong one, the agreeable one. You shape your behavior to fit the moment. You scan for signs, what people need, what they expect, what they'll reject. And you respond, not as yourself, but as the version of you that will be safe. It happens so fast, you don't even notice. You say yes when you mean no. You laugh when you feel anxious. You apologize for things that weren't your fault. You shrink yourself to make others more comfortable. You perform, and the tragedy is, you're probably good at it. So good that people love you for it, praise you for it, reward you for it. But what they love is the character, not you. Carl Jung called this mask the persona, the social face we present to the world to be accepted, admired, or left alone. He wrote, "The persona is that which in reality one is not, but which oneself as well as others think one is." The persona is not inherently bad. We all need a role to function in society. But the problem begins when we become identified with the role, when we forget that it's a mask. And this usually starts in childhood. You learn that love is conditional, that if you cry too much, you're dramatic. If you speak your mind, you're difficult. If you fail, you're disappointing. So you start editing yourself, trimming the parts that feel too big, hiding the parts that feel too raw. You become polite instead of honest, productive instead of peaceful, charming instead of real. You abandon authenticity to avoid abandonment, and over time, the mask becomes your face. Søren Kierkegaard called this despair, not just sadness, but a spiritual crisis, the despair of not being who you truly are. He wrote, "The greatest hazard of all, losing oneself, can occur very quietly in the world, as if it were nothing at all. You perform to survive, to be loved, to keep the peace. But what begins as adaptation eventually becomes disconnection from others and from yourself. You go through life feeling unseen, misunderstood, hollow. People praise your success, but you feel like a stranger in your own story. You keep asking, why doesn't this feel like me? And the answer is simple, because it isn't. It's the version of you that was built to be acceptable, but never to be whole. Why do we keep performing long after we've outgrown the need? Because the fear never left. The fear of rejection, the fear of not being enough, the fear of being too much. You worry that if you stop performing, people will walk away, that your truth will ruin everything you've built, that no one will love you if they see the real you. So you stay in the role. You keep playing the character, even though it exhausts you. even though it empties you, even though it kills something real inside you. You'd rather be praised for being false than risk being abandoned for being true. But here's the truth. You're already abandoned by yourself, and that is the deeper pain. Erich Fromm believed that modern humans are terrified of freedom, not because they don't want it, but because they don't know who they are without the structures, masks, and performances they've built. He wrote, "The more a person is content with the role he is supposed to play, the less is he a person." Fromm called this the escape from freedom. We say we want authenticity, liberation, truth. But when the moment comes, we flinch. Because freedom means responsibility. It means choice. It means standing alone. It means being seen without the script. So instead, we escape into performance, into control, into perfectionism, into roles that feel familiar, even if they feel fake. Because being real is vulnerable, and vulnerability is terrifying when all you've known is rejection. Performance is seductive. It brings approval, success, security, but it has a cost, and the cost is your soul. You lose the ability to feel your own needs. You don't know what you want anymore, only what others expect. You forget what rest feels like, what silence feels like, what being held, not for what you give, but for who you are, feels like. You become a product, a persona, a projection, and even when you're surrounded by people, you feel alone, because no one really knows you. How could they? You haven't let them see, and in the quiet moments, you feel it. That ache, that loneliness, that grief for the life you could have lived if you'd been allowed to be real. You may not realize it, but here are signs the performance is still running your life. You feel uncomfortable with silence in conversations, so you fill it. You agree with opinions you don't believe to avoid conflict. You feel guilty when resting, as if you must always be productive. You constantly ask, "Am I doing enough?" even when exhausted. You fear disappointing others more than betraying yourself. You struggle to cry, even when overwhelmed. You smile reflexively when you're hurting. These are not personality traits. They are defense mechanisms, habits built to survive disconnection, and you are allowed to unlearn them. Here's the hard truth. The mask isn't protecting you. It's hiding you. And beneath the mask is the real you. The you that's messy and beautiful, raw and honest, tender and tired, brave and broken. The you that doesn't need to impress because they're already enough. Jung believed that healing doesn't come from becoming someone new. It comes from remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. And that self, the true self, is still there, waiting, watching, hoping you'll come back. You don't have to throw away your entire life to find yourself. You just have to start telling the truth, little by little, to yourself first, then to others. Start with honesty. I don't actually want this. This conversation is draining me. I'm scared to say no, but I need to. I'm tired of pretending. I want to be seen. Create moments where performance isn't necessary. Relationships where masks are not required. Spaces where silence is allowed. People who can sit with your truth without editing it. And most of all, be that person for yourself. Stop trying to be good all the time. Start trying to be real. Because real is where freedom lives. Carl Jung believed that the journey of becoming yourself is not about self-improvement. It's about self-recovery. He called this process individuation, the integration of all your parts, The light, the shadow, the wounds, the desires, the truths you were told to hide. And the first step on this path is stopping the performance, stepping off the stage, putting down the script, looking in the mirror and asking, "Who am I?" When no one is watching, you will feel fear, you will feel grief, you will feel guilt, but you will also feel something else, relief. Because pretending is exhausting, and you don't have to do it anymore. You are allowed to be messy, to take up space, to ask for what you need, to be loved, not for your role, but for your presence. That is freedom. And it begins the moment you stop performing. If something in this video resonated, if it made your heart ache in that quiet, familiar way, leave a comment below. Tell us, what role are you ready to take off? What truth are you ready to tell? And if you're ready to walk this path of awareness, subscribe, because the next video will help you go even deeper into the freedom you've been avoiding. The journey is long, but it's yours. Until next time, keep shining, not to be seen, but to see.